Left of the box.
We struggle to afford skyrocketing rent and face eviction. Some are refusing to pay and stay for free. It's creating a bitter battle with landlords, now compounded by renters using delays in the court system as leverage. CTV's Caitlin Wilson explains.
It's costing us is our sanity, our health, and our ability to function on a day-to-day basis.
Varun Sriskanda is a property manager in Ottawa. He sees firsthand the toll it takes on landlords when tenants don't pay their rent.
We are seeing homeowners and landlords lose their properties. We're seeing them go into significant debt just to hold on to the houses.
This is them just, the fringe cases, the small landlords and stuff of that sort. We need to focus on them and blah, blah, blah. This isn't the big issue. The big issue is affordability and the landlords that abuse tenants. This isn't what the news should be focusing on, but rarely ever does the news focus on the real problem that's affecting the most amount of people. And even of the small landlords, they make the choice to go into that. They make the choice to buy the extra properties to do that. The only landlords I have any sort of sympathy for are the ones that have an extra room in their house or have converted their basement because they need it in order to be able to afford keeping the house. Like they don't have much choice. They're not doing it for an extra income. They're doing it to survive themselves. That's not the vast majority of landlords. Even small landlords, that's not the vast majority. That's just a tiny, tiny portion of them. But leave it to the news to, focus on the poor landlords that, did a gamble with these rental units and they're going to lose their money. Oh no. It's not like they can't then just sell the properties for a profit and move on or anything like that.
Because landlords are waiting months or longer for a hearing at the Landlord and Tenant Board as their bills pile up.
We waste about 1 year going to a hearing that we know from the very start it will go in the landlord's favor.
Between 2022
landlord's favor.
Between 2020
that we know from the very start it will go in the landlord's favor.
Why do you know from the start that it's going to go in the landlord's favor? Huh. That's interesting. Why? You just assume it's going to go in the landlord's favor?
Between 2022 and 2023, the board received more than 37,000 applications to evict tenants who failed to pay rent. But that year, only 7% were heard within its target of 50 to 55 calendar days.
It's the small guys that are getting obliterated. They're the ones that are going bankrupt, not the big operators. So the issues at the LTB have a dramatic impact.
This Toronto landlord,
they made the choice to get into this business. They took that chance. That's part of having a small business, if you want to call this a small business, is you have to take those chances. That responsibility falls on you. You're not always going to make it as whatever business you do. You made the choice. And if you happen to get a bunch of tenants that don't pay because the economy is absolute shit right now, well, then that's on you. And maybe you should have thought of that before you bought those rental properties to rent out.
Estimates he loses $15,000 to $30,000 each year in unpaid rent. And he recently started this petition calling on the Ontario government to implement automatic evictions.
I don't believe that there's any adjudication process.
Just automatic eviction? Like, that's of course what the landlord wants. They don't want to have to go through the board because that just takes too much time. And besides, at the end, they're going to agree with the landlord anyway. They just want to be able to kick them out as soon as possible. Just automatic eviction.
Just required. It should simply be, here's an order. You need to move out.
He believes the change would help alleviate the backlog.
Yeah, let's just get rid of tenants' rights altogether. That's what the landlord is saying. We just need to get rid of their rights altogether to make our lives easier.
create more rental units and incentivize more landlords to enter the market. But tenant advocates don't agree, saying it's simply part of the risk that comes with renting out a property. They say speeding up the process could mean fewer rights for tenants. CTV News reached out to the Ministry of Housing and the Landlord and Tenant Board for comment, but did not hear back in time for deadline.
Caitlin Wilson, CTV News, Ottawa.
And then we get horrible stories like this, too. Tenants do not have rights.
A Mississauga retirement home is permanently shutting down to make room for a private housing development, leaving about 200 seniors scrambling to find a new place to live. But they're not just losing their affordable housing. When a retirement home closes, they also lose their care. Joyce Dodge has lived in her one-bedroom apartment at Chartwell Heritage Glen for 20 years. Joyce, who will celebrate her 92nd birthday next week, has regular access to a doctor and pharmacy on site, but doesn't require assisted living.
I do my own cooking and baking. I do my own housework, own laundry. I do my own everything. But I'm very happy here.
Last Tuesday, my mom called and said 2 women were at the door and gave her a notice of eviction. And I thought, well, that can't be right.
Joyce received this notice to end her tenancy, telling her the property is being sold to a private developer and she would have to move out by the end of July.
We were all shocked. Everybody you look at, you can see they're worried.
The developer has plans to renovate the residence and redevelop it into traditional rental units for all ages. Chartwell told City News in a statement, the aging infrastructure of the buildings has made it unsustainable to continue operations as a retirement residence. It added, a team of consultants is providing personalized support.
So now that I'm done playing almost with my little thing over here, just a reminder, Chartwell is the group that owned a lot of the long-term care homes where a lot of the seniors died in their beds from dehydration during COVID. Yeah, that's Chartwell, where you have Mike Harris, who's one of the shareholders of that corporation. This company is just monsters. Chartwell is a monster. They don't care about the tenants. Like, that's the thing. Like, you find a place that's actually good for you, that benefits you, and then without any say, without any control, it can be taken away from you and there's nothing you can do. And there's nowhere else reasonable for you to go because you can't get that same type of care anywhere else.
To help residents find new housing options while covering all costs related to relocation, along with moving expenses.
We want a lateral move. If you're moving her, it's the same size and the same price.
For Joyce's daughter, Karen Santaguida, who lives nearby, location is one concern. Another is skyrocketing rent. Joyce currently pays around $1,600 per month for her unit.
Did I tell you they sent an apartment yesterday to look at?
But Karen's biggest worry is finding a room in a seniors building with the same supports and that will allow her mom to continue living independently. So far, she's been sent nothing of the sort.
There's over 200 people in here who are in the same boat. Some may be ready for long-term care, but a lot aren't. Where are they going to go?
Can see the toll that this has taken on you.
Yeah, it's hard. But we keep it positive, and for some reason things work out in the end, so I'm hoping the same thing.
Retirement homes are only required by law to give 3 months notice before they close, but families here say they could use more time, and they've described the measures that Chartwell has put in place to help them with the transition process as the bare minimum. For City News, I'm Karen Seolin.
What do you do when you have a loved one that you can't look after and you rely on one of these homes? Like, I just even think of myself when I get to that age. You know, you have that little level of independence where you have your own place and stuff, but you just need that little extra care. And then suddenly you're looking at the options of going into a place where you get no care or you get no independence. That's not a great option.